Welcome to Connections. I'm your host, April Healy. I'm sitting with my very good friend, Luis Velasquez, and he's had many jobs at Bethel, Atlanta, but he's currently on second year staff. Hey, how are
Hi,
you, Luis?
good. It's an honor to be again here.
Oh my gosh, it's an honor to have you. I love it. I know last time we talked about your whole process, how you got saved, your process before you got saved. So once you got saved, once you like committed your life to the Lord, how did you start walking out the process of getting healthy?
Well, I remember that I started joining my church, and I started getting involved in the youth group, because I was very young. I was 22 years old when I get saved, and I begin to be part of the youth group, and getting involved in the youth group. And I remember one of the this is a funny story that I remember. They, I was like what? I was like almost like 3, 4 months that I just got saved, and they promote me to be the vice president of the youth group. So I was like, I don't know what is this. I don't know how
After
to do.
like 4 months of being saved?
Yeah. After just very recent to being saved, and I was like, I don't know what is this, but
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, let's just do it. And one time, we were having the convention of the youth, and I think the vice president of the youth has to lead worship. And this is a very funny story and very embarrassing. My first funny and embarrassing thing that happens. Um, I'm tall, and I was in the pulpit, ready to lead worship, and when I was a fan above me, and the fan was running. So I was so nervous, and I said, "Okay, guys, so everybody, let's start worshiping the Lord. Let's lift our hands." I was carrying the microphone. I raised my hands, and the fans like, clap, clap, clap. And it was just sparks all over the place. So
Oh,
that experience, it was one of my first experience being embarrassed, and I surrounded myself with very good people
mhm.
that it helped me. Most of it, I remember, um, a old lady. She embraced me so much, and she was like, she told me right on, just right on, says, "Son, now that you're saved, don't think everything is gonna be pink, beautiful. Says, get ready, because the enemy is gonna try to come and attack you, but don't worry about it. Don't 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 lose your sight. Keep walking forward, and we are here to help you grow." And yeah, this most of it all people that helped me in my first years to walk. And then I started like pursuing being involved in leadership, getting involved in doing things, cleaning the church, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I end up know that probably will give me the health and the perspective to begin to change my lifestyle, and not to keep my mind, just to randomly thinking, oh, I want to go back to my old lifestyle and stuff like that.
So that helped you
Yeah.
continue to pursue the Lord
Yes. Yes.
by serving and
Serving and getting involved. Yeah.
okay. Wow. So I know you mentioned when you started doing the more you started leading, that you found yourself like falling into performance and falling into low self-esteem and even living like a fake life.
Yes. Yes. That happens once I was in Texas. I moved to Minnesota, and then I met my wife in the church, where she was, Neva,
How old
and
were you when you met her?
at that time I was 26.
Okay. So
Yeah.
fast forward 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was 26 years old. And we dated for almost 2 years. So I was 28 when I get married with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, and since there we start getting involved, me and her, getting involved in ministry, and then we start pursuing like growth. We want to grow. We want to just go to the next level in our lives, to be in the leadership, because we knew that one day we were gonna be missionaries. we knew that, and we know that.
Yeah.
And that, pushed me to begin to be involved in this very charismatic church, very amazing. The pastor was from Argentina. Amazing pastor, amazing guy, very young, very charismatic. He grew up in revival, great, and so we start getting into his leadership, and but then we start notice the the once we the more we do, we can gain the favor of people.
Okay.
And it was like it was, and then I end up thinking like, oh, if I do this for people, then I can be the favorite, and
Sure.
and
Performance. Right there.
exactly, and I was more like a do it, and then it kind of begins to switch like I begin to compete with other leaders.
Okay.
Like, oh, if I want to be the favorite, I need to do this for the pastor. I need to do this for some other leader, so
Yeah.
that I can become the favorite. And even it kind of sounds ridiculous, but it's so bad being in performance that even it puts you in a space where you bring your own agenda.
Mm.
You used to gain your own,
Sure.
and and you don't care if you can smash or step on somebody until you get what you want. Yeah, it was bad. Now that I see everything, I'm like,
Sure.
oh man, it was really bad.
Yeah.
So and then after that, things begin to happen. Things begin to happen, and then um I begin to notice that some very crucial things happen with people close to me, like some people falling and seeing and stuff like that. That it kind of begins to wonder. I begin to wonder, okay, what's going on? What is this? And I begin to uh, shut down my feelings, and not to share what I was going through, because I was told that if you are a leader, as a leader, you have to look yourself strong all the time. You don't have time to show your feelings. You don't have time to show that you're weak, because you are a leader,
Yeah.
and people has to see you that you're strong. So then I begin to walk in like a fake lifestyle,
Okay.
like going through all these issues,
Yeah. And not sharing
and not
your real
sharing
life.
my exactly.
So how did you get out of that? How did you find who you were again? Realize that you didn't have to perform, you didn't have to be fake, that you could just be safe, you could be you.
After falling through very bad circumstances, and performing and some other things, that it came with, like getting involved in some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
lost and pornography and all that. um I say I can keep like this. I have to find help.
Yeah.
And then when I start helping one of my friends, planting a church, I met a couple that they were having some healing room, you know, and then I get introduced to them, and then I begin to hear what they were doing with these healing rooms, how they help people to get delivered, and how get people to get healing and all that kind of stuff. So I remember one time I went to him and said, hey, I I'm afraid to share this with somebody else,
Yeah.
because performance,
Totally.
you wanna keep still looking good in front of people.
Yeah.
You don't want people to find out what's going on with you because of, oh, it's the leader.
Yeah.
I went to this other person, say, hey, I'm struggling with this. What
Yeah.
can I do? Oh, seems like you're not possessed. You're not, but you need some counseling. You need to go through some mourning, we need to go through. So I went through a counseling with him and his wife for like 2 months.
Okay.
No, not even my wife knowing.
Oh, you
No.
went through all that
Yeah,
for 2 months
yeah, for
to
2
get
months.
yourself healthy.
Yes, and they helped me to get on my feet. they begin to give me some sources. Then they begin to introduce me to Randy Clark, and and that's when the first time I start hearing about, you know, Bill Johnson, you know, in Bethel, you know, and then I begin to pursue that and begin to hear the messages, and that was something totally different.
Yeah.
You know, something very, very different that I was blown away. I was like, wow, where this guy learning all of this? You know?
Yeah.
And that starts helping me to getting healthy, to getting on my feet, you know, and yeah, and just to surround me with people that will help me to overcome all of that, you know. But still, I was struggling with the performance thing and the performance lifestyle.
Yeah. And so you feel like it's a continued thing that you're pursuing, where you're like continuing to go after health, continuing to choose to not perform, continuing to choose to be real. That feels like a continued thing in your life.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So and then after that, I remember the I get that help, and I start being healthy. Then I begin to go to the school of healing and impartation with Randy Clark and things like that. Then I begin to learn different ways how to get, you know, healthy, how to grow, you know, and then this when I started listening to them, they kind of awake something inside of me, like I need to know who I am.
Yeah.
I need to find out what's my calling, I knew what's my calling, but what's my purpose in the body of Christ.
Yeah.
Who am I? I'm the hand, I'm the finger, or who am I?
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, so and then I have another encounter with God where he told me, you know, hey, this is what I want you to be. You know, he asked me to, he told me that I was choose to be one of his prophets, and I said, no, I don't think so. I don't think I fit for that.
Yeah.
But then after that, you know, I begin to sharing with people, you know, what I've been receiving from God, and and, and they say, oh yeah, you can pursue more learning about all these gifts and all the stuff by listening to these people.
Wow.
And that pushed me more towards that healing and process in my life.
Wow. That's amazing. I love that you just went through the process to go after healing. Like, I learned this, I kept pursuing it. I learned this, I love that. That's so awesome.
Yes.
Well, Luis, thanks for joining us on the show, and thanks for sharing your whole testimony and all the good and all the hard, and just really being vulnerable in all of it. It really is a blessing to hear it. It's a blessing to understand how to walk through it, and you did well walking through it. So,
well, thank you. It was an honor to be here.
Oh, thanks, Luis. You're awesome.
Thanks.
And you guys, thanks so much for joining us. I love that you got to hear all of Luis's story. There's probably lots more that we didn't hear, but I love that you were here, and we'd love to have you back next time.